to tell us how the World Bank and other international financial institutions are positioning themselves to play this important role, we have with us Mr. Mark Cackler, Manager of the Agriculture and Rural Development Department of the World Bank.
One of the themes that you'll hear in the next few minutes is we can do so much more when what we do is grounded in good analysis. That 75% of the poor people in the world are rural, most are engaged in farming, and in the 21st century, agriculture remains fundamental for poverty alleviation, economic growth, and environmental sustainability. And we can prove it. This is where the analysis comes in. Agriculture is fundamental to economic growth overall, especially in Africa. The Millennium Development Goals simply cannot be met. The arithmetic does not work unless agriculture growth is achieved. This is probably the single most influential slide in the entire WDR, World Development Report. The poverty alleviating effect of agricultural growth is 2 to 4 times higher than non-agricultural growth for the poorest members of society. I'll say that again. That looks like a very boring graph, but it's hugely important. It gets my boss, Bob Zellick, very excited. He talks about it all the time. You get a bigger bang for the buck. You get a bigger impact on poverty, 2 to 4 times the impact on poverty from agriculture growth than non-agriculture growth. The world has changed. We know so much more than we did 25 years ago, which was the last time the World Development Report was on agriculture. Markets have changed. Technology has changed. Financial instruments have changed. Organizations have changed. But challenges remain. You know, we from rich countries aren't just providing money to have an impact. We in rich countries have policies that either can be good or bad. And if we have bad policies, it can vitiate everything we're trying to do by increasing our funding. And one of them is trade. So I didn't want to let this morning go by without putting in a plug for trade reform by rich countries. Governance isn't just a concern for African countries, it's a concern for rich countries. We consider trade to be a governance issue. You know, what are we doing in donor countries? I mean, this is why we're here today. I mean, donor support to agriculture went down consistently. It is starting to come back, but we have a long way to go. I mean, this is one of my favorite slides. I mean, hopefully when we meet here next year and the year after that and the year after that, as you come out with your reports, this is going to change. But, 75% of the poor people in the world are rural, and most are involved in farming. And 4% of public spending in Africa, 4% of donor financing in recent years has gone to agriculture. What's wrong with this picture? One of the things that informs our discussions, there are no magic bullets. But some bullets are a lot better than others, and one of the ones we stress the most is the need for a productivity revolution for smallholders, especially in Africa. There are people who think that smallholders are so 19th century. We don't. We think that they have an important role to play in the 21st century, and they can. A quick word on the so-called food price crisis. The reason I say so-called is that 2 years ago, before prices went up, according to FAO, there were 830 million people going to bed hungry every night. Tonight, 1 billion people will go to bed hungry. It's the first time in human history that that's happened. I don't like the word crisis because for those 830 million, they were already in crisis, and it's important to emphasize agriculture for development even when food prices disappear from the headlines. Most of the support has gone to Africa, and we strongly support CAADP. I mean, when I say we, the World Bank, IFAD, other donor partners, whenever we can, we want to emphasize CAADP as the guiding principle for our support. And we have some good news. I think your report just went through 2008, 3-year period. We were averaging about $700 million a year. For IDA, last year it went to $1.7 billion. Now, things will go, there will be fluctuations from year to year, but this is some tangible evidence of our commitment. But again, it's not just us. I happen to be from the bank today, but again, it's EFOD, it's FAO, it's the other bilateral and multilateral organizations. What are we going to do in the future? We have also just issued, just in the last few weeks, a new 3-year action plan with 5 pillars. You'll see a lot of correspondence between our 5 pillars and CADIP's 4 pillars. It's on the website. This is what we say we're going to do at the World Bank for the next 3 years. So, this is where we've been. This is where we're going. I do want to thank the partnership for giving us numbers, giving us analysis, because that is how we can do better in the future. And once again, let us keep our eyes on the prize. 75% of the poor people in the world are rural. They are engaged in farming. And agriculture does stay fundamental for economic growth, poverty alleviation, and environmental sustainability. And I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cackler, for those very encouraging words.